2026 finally the year that the housing market starts to calm down, or are we in for more of the same roller coaster ride? A lot of people are calling this moment the Great Housing Reset, and today I want to break down what that really means if you're thinking about buying, selling, or renting this year. I'm going to walk you through what's happening with prices, mortgage rates, rents, affordability, how people are actually living now, what's going on here in New Jersey, and how to use this reset to your advantage instead of feeling overwhelmed by it. I'm Cori, a real estate agent here in New Jersey, and I've been helping people buy and sell homes for about 20 years. I absolutely love sharing what's really happening in our market, just not the scary or flashy headlines. So let's dive in. What is the Great Housing Reset? When you hear the Great Housing Reset, it can sound dramatic, like we're headed for some kind of crash or another wild boom. But that's not what this is. Think of the last few years as the housing market sprinting a marathon.
You're doing great, Michael. Look at you go. That's my boss. Yeah,
I am fast. I'm very fast.
Prices jumped quickly, rates swung all over the place, buyers were waiving everything just to win a house, and sellers were getting multiple offers in a weekend. Now in 2026, the market is finally taking a breath. This reset is really about the market shifting from absolutely bananas to more normal. Still not easy, but more normal. It doesn't mean homes suddenly become cheap. It doesn't mean you'll walk into a house and be the only person interested. It just means that the pace is more manageable and the extremes are softening. Experts expect home prices nationwide to grow very slowly this year, somewhere around 1% or so, instead of the big jumps we saw during the pandemic years. At the same time, incomes are expected to grow a little faster than home prices. That means affordability is moving in the right direction, but very slowly. This is not an overnight fix. It's more like turning a cruise ship. It's moving, but if you stand at the railing and stare at the water, you're going to think nothing's happening. You only notice the change when you look up a little later and realize the whole view has shifted. Let's talk about what slow price growth actually feels like on the ground. If you're a seller, this means you can't just throw a high price at the wall and assume the market will catch up. The days of I'll list it high and see what happens, they're fading quickly. You need to be more realistic. Look at recent, truly comparable sales and understand that buyers are more price sensitive because their monthly payments are still higher than they were just a few years ago. If you're a buyer, slow price growth is actually your friend. It means homes are less likely to jump out of your price range in just a few months. You have a slightly better chance of negotiating. You may not face 20 offers on every home, especially if you're working with a smart strategy. You might still see pockets where prices feel intense, great school districts, super desirable neighborhoods, or those rare unicorn homes that everybody seems to want. But overall, the pressure cooker is easing a bit. What about the mortgage rates? Not 3%, but not a total disaster. Because there is usually so many questions about mortgage rates, and it's usually the first question that I get. For 2026, the expectation is that 30-year fixed rates will hang out in the low 6% range, not 3%, not 4%. Those days were fun, but they're gone, at least for now. Rates should be a bit lower than what many buyers saw in 2025, but if you've lived through the pandemic era, they'll still feel high by comparison. Every now and then we might see rates dip under 6% for a bit, but most experts don't expect that to last long when it happens. This is where strategy really matters. You might be able to buy down your rate by paying points up front. You might look at different loan programs that fit your income and down payment better. You might consider a slightly lower price range to keep your monthly payment comfortable instead of stretching just because you qualify on paper. And if you're listening to this thinking, I have no idea what points are or how any of that works, that's okay. That's exactly why you need to talk to a trusted local lender and a local real estate agent. Together, we can walk you through your options in plain English and help you figure out what really works best for you and your situation, not what works in a perfect world. On paper, 2026 looks a little bit more affordable. Home prices, they're growing slowly. Incomes are growing just a little bit faster. Rates a little lower than last year. So far, that sounds great. But affordability isn't just the price tag and the interest rate. You also have property taxes, homeowners insurance, maintenance, utilities, for some, HOA or condo fees. In a lot of areas, taxes and insurance have really jumped. That means even if the purchase price looks okay, the total monthly cost can feel very heavy.
Oh, okay.
For a lot of first-time buyers, especially Gen Z and younger millennials, it still feels very tight. Many are choosing to stay with their parents longer.
I saw all of the money that I was saving and I thought maybe I should stay home for a little bit, and I didn't feel an urgency to move out.
They're choosing to get roommates. They're waiting longer to buy and even to start a family. Some are moving farther out from major cities to find something in their budget. If that's you, you're not behind. You're not doing it wrong. You're living through a very expensive housing cycle. The rules your parents followed, buy in your early 20s, work one job for 30 years and pay it off, don't always match what's happening now. And honestly, it's not your fault. So what about actual sales? Are homes even selling right now? Experts think home sales will rise about 3% compared to last year. So yeah, a little more activity, but not a huge boom. And why do you think that's happening? On one side, a lot of homeowners are still locked into super low mortgage rates from the past few years. If you've got a 3% rate, you're not exactly excited to trade that for 6% unless you really have to move, your life circumstances have completely changed, you found a home that solves enough problems that it's worth the higher payment. On the other side, buyers are still dealing with high prices and higher monthly payments than they'd like. That combo means the market is moving, but it's not a total free-for-all. If you're a seller, this means pricing correctly still really matters. It means making your home look its best, staging, decluttering, great photos, maybe a few simple updates really can make a big difference. You want to make it super easy for buyers to say yes, not give them reasons to hesitate when they're looking at your home. And if you're a buyer, what does this mean? It means being prepared is critical. Get pre-approved now, know your numbers, and understand what you're comfortable spending each month. People don't realize you need to be prepared. Having information is important. Be ready when the right home shows up. The best homes still do attract attention quickly. Don't be afraid to write strong, clean offers when you find something that truly works for you. I know you can be nervous, but go for it. And if you're renting in 2026, what should you expect? Is there going to be anything out there for you? Rents are expected to rise around 2 to 3% this year, which is roughly in line with inflation. That is slower than the big jumps we saw a few years ago, but it still means your rent is likely going up, not down. And right here in New Jersey, rentals are already very high. And why is all this happening? There are fewer new apartments being built than we saw earlier in the decade. There still are many going up throughout New Jersey, but they're not as many. More people are also renting longer because buying feels simply out of reach for them. Investors also face higher costs, taxes, insurance, financing, which often gets passed down through the rent, bringing the rental prices up. So you end up with more renters, less new supply, and rents that are creeping up. If you're planning to buy in the next year or two, this is your season to do the following. Tighten your budget and track your spending honestly. Build that down payment, even if you're doing it slowly. Clean up your credit, pay down balances, avoid big new debts, and check your reports. Future you will be very grateful you started early, even if it feels like really small steps right now. How is this reset changing the way we live? One of the most fascinating parts of this whole reset is how it's changing the way everybody is living, who they live with, and how they are using their homes. We are seeing more and more adult children moving back in with parents to save for a down payment or pay off their debt. We're seeing parents moving in with adult kids as they age or want to downsize. We're also seeing friends buying homes together, putting everything in writing so it's clear who owns what and who pays what. We're also seeing more multi-generational homes with in-law suites, separate entrances, finished basements or converted garage that function almost like a small apartment. Instead of saying we have to move, this house doesn't work anymore, a lot of families are asking, how do we make the current house that we have work better for us? If you're in that situation, you are not alone and you are not failing. You're adapting to a very real affordability challenge and using your creativity to make it work its very best for you and your family. Let's zoom out for a minute to where a lot of action is happening. Areas around New York City, Long Island, the Hudson Valley, northern New Jersey are still very popular. Buyers want to be within reach of the city and major job centers. They want to be in communities with good schools and good amenities. They want to be somewhere that may offer slightly better affordability or lower insurance risk than some coastal or high-risk areas. Some Midwestern and Great Lakes cities are also expected to do well because they offer more reasonable home prices, sometimes lower property taxes. They offer fewer climate-related issues like major wildfires or frequent hurricanes. On the other hand, some of the big pandemic boom towns, certain parts of Florida and Texas, for example, they're expected to cool down a bit. High insurance costs, greater climate risk, and in some areas, a big wave of new construction have taken some of the shine off of it. We're hearing that about Florida right now, which has a lot of inventory. Here in New Jersey, we're really in an interesting spot. We're close to major job centers, we have strong, established communities, and while it's not cheap, a lot of buyers see our area as more stable, long-term bet. People are willing to trade a bit of price for stability, schools, and lifestyle. Why do you keep hearing about housing affordability, and why has it become a major political issue? And I think you're going to start hearing about it a lot more. Voters have been very clear. Housing is too expensive. Do something. So you'll hear more talk about things like making it easier and faster to build more homes, changing zoning to allow accessory units like backyard cottages, garage apartments, or in-law suites, supporting manufactured and modular housing in some areas as a more affordable option, incentives for first-time buyers or for building entry-level homes. Some of these changes can help over time by increasing supply and giving people more options, but none of them are magic wands. They don't instantly drop prices or erase years of underbuilding. That's just not going to happen. The honest truth, the biggest fix is time. Time for incomes to catch up, time to build more homes in some parts of the country, and time for the market to slowly normalize. Refinancing, remodeling, and staying put are another big trend for 2026 for those who already own a home. As rates ease down a bit from their peaks, many homeowners who bought at higher rates recently will look to refinance and bring their payments down. Others, especially those who bought years ago, have built up serious equity as prices rose. Instead of moving, some are tapping into that equity to renovate. Common projects right now include the following: adding an in-law suite or finishing a basement to create more living space, updating kitchens and bathrooms to match how the family actually uses the home, converting spaces like garages or bonus rooms to fit new needs, home offices, kids' playrooms, or extended family. For many families, especially multi-generational ones, renovating the home they already own is cheaper and less stressful than trying to trade up in a market where the prices are still high and the rates are higher than they remember. How is AI changing real estate? Interesting. Let's talk about the techie part. AI is starting to play a bigger role in real estate. Instead of just typing 3-bedroom, 2-bath into a search bar, you are now able to do the following. Describe your lifestyle. Do you work from home? Do you commute? Do you have pets? Share your budget and your comfort zone for monthly payments. List your must-haves and all your nice-to-haves. Then AI tools can suggest neighborhoods and homes you might not have ever thought of. It can help agents match buyers and homes more efficiently. It can spot patterns in what you like, even before you can put it into words. It can help keep in touch at the right moment so you don't miss opportunities. But there is something AI can't do. It can't walk into a house and say, this layout will drive you nuts, or this neighborhood is perfect for how you actually live in your life. You know what AI can't do? It can't feel how busy a street sounds at 5 p.m. It can't sense that the backyard is where your kids will want to be every single afternoon. That's where real human experience, local knowledge, and a bit of intuition still matters.
Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Cori, your local real estate expert located right here in gorgeous Monmouth County.
AI is amazing, but it's also a little bit scary. A quick side note, because if you've watched me before, you know this about me already. If I look calm on camera, just know I'm probably talking myself through it in my head too. And if you ever feel anxious about this market, or even just about talking about it, you're in good company. This stuff is emotional. It's not just numbers. It's where you live, where your kids grow up, how close you are to your family and friends, what your day-to-day life feels like. It's a lot, and it is extremely stressful. My job is to take all this noise, simplify it, and help you make decisions that feel right for you, not for some generic average buyer or some buyer AI might put together. So is 2026 really the great housing reset? In many ways, yes. Prices are growing slowly. They are not exploding. Incomes are starting to slowly catch up. Rates are still higher than we'd like, but a bit better than last year. Rent is still rising, but not as fast as before. And the way we live, who we live with, how we use our homes, it's changing. It's definitely not the easiest market we've seen, but it is a market where thoughtful strategy, patience, and good advice can really pay off. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or just planning your next step in this market, don't rely on headlines, please. Every situation is different. Your income, your debt, your family, your job, your timeline, all of this matters. It's not just a headline. If you want to talk about your plans for 2026 and you like an honest, no pressure conversation, reach out anytime. I'm here in New Jersey. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I am always happy to be a resource. Even if you're not ready to move and you just want to gather information, reach out. If you think this video helped you, hit like, subscribe, so you'll see next week's update. And let me know in the comments, do you think the Great Housing Reset is good news, bad news, fake news, or just news? I'm Cori, and I love helping people make smart moves in this market. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I know the topic wasn't exactly exciting, a little boring, but I'm glad you were here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.